270 authors from 67 countries have worked tirelessly to produce this report. Over the last 5 years, they have assessed 34,000 scientific papers to prepare their findings. Perhaps this statement best summarizes our findings. The scientific evidence is unequivocal. Climate change is a threat to human well-being and the health of the planet. Any further delay in concerted global action will miss the brief and rapidly closing window to secure a livable future. This report offers solutions to the world.
The findings of the IPCC report we are releasing today are clear. The stakes for our planet have never been higher, and temperature will continue to rise unless the world takes much bolder action. The Working Group 2 report we are releasing today provides the latest understanding of what does this warming means for the people, ecosystems, and the planet. The report is a dire warning about the consequences of inaction. Today, we also deepen our understanding of solutions to climate change and how adaptation can help us lower risks and reduce vulnerability. Our collective and individual adaptation can be an effective strategy, but there are limits to how much we and other species can adapt. Our report is a blueprint for our future on this planet. It recognizes the interdependence of climate, ecosystems, and biodiversity and people. But most importantly, it emphasizes the urgency of immediate and more ambitious action to address climate risks. Half measures are no longer an action.
And the message this report sends is clear. Climate change isn't lurking around the corner waiting to pounce. It's already upon us, raining down blows on billions of people. We're seeing dangerous disruption across the natural world. Species are migrating in search of more livable conditions. In climate risk hotspots, deaths from floods, droughts, or storms were 15 times higher than those in more resilient countries over the last decade. All of this and more at only 1.1 degrees Celsius of global warming. We are in an emergency heading for a disaster. Let nature do the job it spends millions of years perfecting. We need large-scale ecosystem restoration from ocean to mountaintop. We need to bring nature into baking hot cities to keep them cool. We need to conserve mangroves, coral reefs, and other nature's defenses. We need to protect and restore wetlands for nature and incorporate wetlands into our cities. Backing nature is the best way to adapt to and to slow climate change while providing jobs and boosting economies. Humanity has spent centuries treating nature like its worst enemy. The truth is that nature can be our savior, but only if we save it first.
From the co-chairs of the Working Group 2, Dr. Deborah Roberts and Dr. Hans Otto Pörtner.
Looking to the future, every small increase in warming will result in increased risks to nature and to people in every region of the world. We would see species extinctions and losses of entire ecosystems, such as mountaintops, tropical coral reefs, and coastal wetlands, even if we temporarily exceed 1.5 degrees warming for several decades. Nature services support all aspects of our lives, from pollination and tourism to health and climate regulation. Loss of ecosystems and their services has cascading and long-term impacts on people globally, especially for indigenous peoples and local communities who directly depend on them. Climate change will undermine food security. About 1 billion people living in low-lying cities and other settlements on the coast are projected to be at risk from sea level rise and other climate hazards by mid-century. We provide a global perspective here But this report also has an extensive regional focus.
And in this report, we show that there are feasible, effective options we can take to reduce the risk to people and nature, but their effectiveness decreases with increasing warming. Nature offers significant untapped potential, not only to reduce climate risks and deal with the causes of climate change, but also to improve people's lives and livelihoods. We know that there are adaptation limits. Adaptation cannot prevent all losses and damages. And even with effective adaptation, limits will be reached with higher levels of warming. Some natural solutions will no longer work above 1.5 degrees Celsius warming. Above 1.5 degrees Celsius, a lack of fresh water could mean that people living on small islands and those dependent on glaciers and snowmelt can no longer adapt. Climate resilient development has to be considered across government and all of civil society. It should involve everyone, round the table, governments, citizens, communities, educational institutions, the media, investors, and businesses forming partnerships. Scientific, indigenous, and local knowledge and practical know-how come together to provide more relevant, effective options. Starting today, every action, every choice, and every decision matters, because each of them can take us away from or towards a climate resilient, sustainable world. Worldwide action to achieve climate resilient and sustainable development is more urgent than previously assessed.
The science is clear. Any further delay in concerted global action will miss a brief and rapidly closing window to secure a livable future. This report offers solutions to the world. It's over to you now.